As a big proponent of physical media, this is some news that I do in fact like to hear, even though, if they're wasting the time and effort to print a physical game on Xbox in 2025, I don't really know if you're going to be seeing a return on your investment, but in practice, okay, I do like to see this type of stuff, especially for a game that is this popular, okay, it's weird, right, because I can look up at some of my media collection. I actually might have that one tucked away or something like that, but when I first got into PC gaming all the way back in 2014, which is late for some people, early for others, and frankly, I don't really care because I like PC gaming now. I have for a very long time, over a decade at this point in time, which is wild to think about, but I digress. One of my first early purchases outside of just, hopping in, because it was Boxing Day, so that is the day after Christmas for you American types. So I stocked up my catalog with just as many Steam sales as I possibly can. This was at a time when the Steam sales used to have your, 8-hour little blocks where they would run through with super discounts on a select number of titles, and boy, that was fun. And then I think, what was it, right around 2016, 2017, they stopped that? No, I guess 2016, they would have still had that for the summer sale, because that's when the World Cup was on and I was working outside. And funny story, sidebar here for a second, but it was perfect, right? Because I was working construction at the time when I was a security guard at a jewelry store. It makes sense, trust me. But I would get there first thing in the morning. I'd start work at 7 or 8 o'clock or something after I was done at the gym. Then I'd go over and pull rebar from 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock at night. And I would remember I would take my breaks, at 10, at 10 o'clock. Yeah, it would have been at 10 o'clock. And then again, right at the end of the day. So then you would end up seeing the new sales that would go on for Steam. And then you would just pick up whatever was on some of the flash sales that were out there. But God, that was so much fun. But at the same time, I would also, because this was still at the same time where they were printing a very select number of physical purchases. And I actually I wish I had it available, because it's actually a really cool looking box. But it was all of the Elder Scrolls games, like the original one. Then you had Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim that was in there. This was, I think, probably prior to a bunch of the Skyrim DLC that had come out. But it was, 2014 at that point in time. So yeah, when it comes to physical PC releases, I have that. And then I also have, it's a big box and it's actually really cool, but the game is atrocious. But it's Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. Brash game, but a really cool special edition. It is huge, by the way. It's like the big, enormous box, but I digress. So yeah, I actually have some skin in the Elder Scrolls game, even though I don't really like those games at all. I think Bethesda is one of the most overrated studios in all of gaming, just trotting out the same game over and over and over again. They haven't really innovated since, I would say, probably Morrowind. But still, I'm obviously in the hyper minority, and people really liked Oblivion Remaster when it ended up shadow dropping in, April? And so, yeah, if they're going to be, trying to spike a little bit of interest, for the 6 people that still have an actual Xbox instead of streaming Game Pass on their toaster or their smart fridge nowadays, I like that. I do like that. Especially, in the collector side of me. Just simply, if you have some of those old big box Elder Scrolls games, or if you have all the different editions of Skyrim that are out there and you're just steadfast in making sure that your collection is totally complete, yeah, it'd be nice to have a physical copy of Oblivion Remastered, because from what I can remember, the game is very well received. It even managed to break Nexus mods for a very short period of time, but yeah, we're just we are at this point in time relitigating very old news. But yes, very important question that is raised here. Okay, so Oblivion Remastered is getting a physical release for the Xbox Series X, but will it contain the game on the disc? It's kind of like what Nintendo's doing with their game cards that are out there right now, where it's just simply an unlock to download the game, where you input a cartridge and it sends you to a page on their storefront to download the game that you just bought and have a card for. So instead of putting memory on the little cartridge, it's just a URL redirect. What are we doing? So good news for everyone. It's been confirmed today that Oblivion Remastered will indeed be getting a physical release for both the Series X and PS5 in October. Ooh, interesting. And pre-orders have actually begun over at the game collection in the UK. Okay. They were the company that broke the news okay, I guess they broke the news and they were immediately inundated with questions about whether the Xbox version is on disc or not. Unfortunately, they aren't aware either way right now. Yeah, probably because they got the SKU, they got the information that, yep, no, we're doing a physical copy for Oblivion, and that's probably all they cared about. It's like, cool, we're gonna have boxes to put on shelves, and we're gonna have a reason to bring people into the store, and hopefully we can upsell them on something else, because kind of what game stores have to do at this point in time. And honestly, it's a big reason why I haven't gone into an EB Games, or I guess now they're all GameStops at this point in time. And oh god, there was probably pre-lockdown shit, so probably, oh god, Boxing Day was probably the same time that I bought my Switch, so 2018 or something like that. I don't know how these places continue to stay open, but yeah, by the time that this physical edition comes out, you're already going to have a couple of updates. 1.2 update that is out there right now, and well, okay, it's tightening up the experience, because from what I remember, like, the game was running fine. It was looking very, very good, not even just so much as a comparison to the original 2006 release, but just in general, like, those responsible for the remaster did an excellent job. And so if there were any glitches, bugs, or hiccups rather, that needed to get smoothed over, well, now you have an opportunity to do that. And well, how are audiences responding? Well, holy shit, actually, this is pretty tremendous. Now, I talked about Stellar Blade not that long ago, and it has, in the course of like a month or something, lost 85% of its audience. But this right here, 3,000 concurrent players, okay, 3,000 players, 2,300 players. Now, it could peak up over the weekend, but honestly, 4,500 people, and you take a look at that dead-ass line, and bro, you went from 216,000, and now you're in non-aggressive 4 digits. That's kind of a problem, okay? And I understand, single-player game, you know, people are just going to trudge through that stuff, but at this point in time, like, I would imagine you got 5-digit player count on Skyrim, a game that is, 14 years old at this point in time? Well, it'll turn 14 in November. And so nobody's playing this game. I wonder what the mod scene looks like. Because that's one thing, I haven't seen anything, like, outside of its initial release and everybody playing it. Haven't really seen much of a fandom spring up around this remaster, which is kind of emblematic of a lot of latter-day Bethesda releases. Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online, Indiana Jones. So many things that they put out. Starfield, there we go, that was the big one that I was forgetting. But all of the stuff that they put out, it gets that initial hype boost, because everybody remembers, you know, the fun times that they used to have with Bethesda titles back in the cut. But then they play them and it's like, wow, they haven't really innovated at all whatsoever. What did I waste my money on? Next time that I'm checking out something, I'm going to do it on Game Pass. And well, if anybody's still playing this game, it might be over there, because they aren't playing their copies that they bought and paid for over on Steam. And well, that has kind of led to some uncomfortable realities that the guys responsible for this port, even though they're going to have to craft a physical version of this, well, Virtuos Studios, okay, they're the ones that, who worked on this remaster. They're also the ones that are working on the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Remaster and another title as well. And yeah, they, like several other Xbox studios earlier this year, have been hit with layoffs. Layoffs? So Virtuos confirms layoffs in a new statement. And Virtuos has confirmed layoffs at the studio, calling the restructuring of the company in a new statement after it was first reported Wednesday afternoon that the Singapore-based studio said the layoffs impacted roughly 7% of the company's global staff within teams facing lower occupancy and slower demand due to structural shifts in the industry. Oh wow, you did your work and now you're fired. Interesting. Very interesting. In a statement given to Eurogamer, the studio said that 200 people were let go across Asia and 70 in Europe. Of those 70, less than 10 were in France, where the Elder Scrolls 4 Remaster was developed. We are grateful for the contributions of those impacted. We are providing separation packages, career transition assistance, and opportunities for redeployment across our global network where possible, a company spokesperson told the outlet. The company's immediate focus on is on managing this transition with care, transparency, and respect and dignity. The statement went on to say that Virtuos will continue to invest in global delivery, technical excellence, and creative collaboration, just with fewer hands at the ready, ensuring that Virtuos remains the partner of choice for the world's leading game creators. We thank our teams, partners, and peers for their continued support as Virtuos adapts to leading the future of game development. So yes, currently Virtuos has been working working as a support studio on Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is set to launch August 28th, which I would imagine, a little while after that, they'll probably be going through with another round of layoffs, because anybody working tangentially for Xbox at this point in time, or for a big AAA studio, because we know Konami for years at this point in time has been a foot out of the gaming industry. They've been more concerned with working on pachinko machines, which, if you recall, if you were gaming back in the Super Nintendo era, like, you seen that Konami logo pop up and you knew that you were going to be in for a great time. But just how they kind of ended up getting wrapped up in the cult of Kojima, and after that hack took his show on the road, it's like, oh god, what are we left to do? Nothing really. So they've been spinning their wheels and re-releasing old games. And Bethesda's in a similar holding pattern, but don't worry, guys. We heard news earlier this past week or the week before that Fallout 5. Oh, they've greenlit it. Oh, that's fantastic. It'll probably come out. What do you think is going to come out first? Elder Scrolls 6, which, oh god, who was it as that was talking about this, which I find absolutely hilarious. There was a little teaser for Elder Scrolls 6 that came out years ago at this point in time. And we are now further away from the release of that teaser than that teaser was. I think it was from 2016 or 2017, from when it was released in relation to Skyrim. So from the end of 2011 to 2016 or 2017, when we seen that first look confirmation, we still know a shockingly little amount about Elder Scrolls 6. But hey, get excited for Fallout 5 and also Fallout Season 2 of that awful TV show, which, just like as we previously talked about this week, a lot of the Marvel scuttle. How long is it going to take for people to realize that Season 1 of Fallout was absolutely pants on head stupid, and it wasn't quite the peak fire that they were shilling it as at the time? Can't wait for that season to come out and just die on the vine like so many Season 2s over at Amazon. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.